Finally, there seems to be a hint of justice for domestic violence victim Shilpa, who passed away yesterday. The mother-in-law, who was one of the accused in the case, has been arrested for setting Shilpa ablaze after stripping her. After being burnt alive by her relatives, Shilpa still, however, faces discrimination in death as her mother is struggling to find someone to perform the last rites. But however, the Mandya district administration has come forward to fund the entire funeral ceremony of Shilpa. The body, however, is still at the medical college mortuary. 20-year-old Shilpa was set ablaze by her husband's relatives in a domestic dispute. She suffered severe burn injuries and was shifted to a private hospital, but in a critical condition. The family as well as the husband went absconding immediately after, but now the mother-in-law of Shilpa, who is one of the main accused in the case, has been taken into custody. Murugesh, meanwhile, who is the father of Shilpa, has arrived from Tamil Nadu. A shocking and a pitiful incident there coming to light from Mandya, where yesterday a 20-year-old who had been burnt by her in-laws breathed her last, and today, even as her mother cried out for help to perform the last rites of her darling daughter, the Mandya district administration has come forward to fund the funeral ceremony. Apart from that, also a few good Samaritans, which include social activist Ravi Ganiga, have offered to fund the final rites of the young girl who was brutally murdered by her own relatives. The in-laws as well as the husband had gone absconding yesterday soon after the incident, but today the mother-in-law has been taken into custody. It is said that the 20-year-old had accompanied her in-laws on a temple trip to Mysore. She managed to escape their first attempt to murder her, which was by strangling, but then their second attempt proved to be too costly for her as they stripped her and burnt her. But Shilpa was still alive when she was rushed to the private hospital. She was heard moaning and screaming out of pain, even as doctors tried to soothe her burn injuries. And moving on now, Kannada and Culture Minister Umashri may need a bit of luck in all the marks that they can get in their academic pursuit. Both had applied for a PhD in political science and have managed to score 43 and 56 marks respectively in the entrance test conducted by the Karnataka State Open University. Umashri appeared for the doctoral program on the 6th of October 2013. The results for the exams were announced on the 4th of November last year. The criteria then was the general merit scholars required 55 and reserved categories 50. After 21 days, the criteria was changed to 40 for general merit and for 35 for SC/ST category. The minister gave her viva on the 13th of April. It is said that Umashri could have twisted rules and regulations to favor her for a doctoral program, as she secured a mere 43 marks in her exams in PhD in political science. But instead, even as the cutoff for the exams of doctoral was 55, it was reduced to 40 in a few months' time. So now it is being speculated that probably Umashri could have pressurized the officials of KSOU to change the cutoff. And while a record 78 candidates are in the fray in the Varanasi Lok Sabha seat from where Narendra Modi filed his nomination papers, the large number of candidates is likely to force the Election Commission to use ballot papers instead of EVMs for voting. According to the Election Commission, as many as 38 persons filed nominations along with Modi yesterday. The number of candidates in Varanasi may change after scrutiny of nomination papers, which will be held on the 28th of April. An EVM can have a maximum of 16 candidates and a maximum of 4 EVMs can be used at one polling station. Ballot papers have to be used if the number of candidates in a constituency exceeds 64. Well, there seems to be a new trouble for the Election Commission this time around, although it is a known fact that Varanasi is quite a heated battleground in elections, with Narendra Modi as well as Arvind Kejriwal contesting from the constituency. But even as yesterday the BJP candidate went in to file his nomination papers, 38 others were doing so. He had to wait for close to 25 minutes to file his nomination papers. Apart from that, now the total tally has come up to 78 candidates being in the fray. As per the rules of the Election Commission, each EVM can accommodate 16 candidates and each booth can have 4 EVM machines, which means that close to only 64 candidates can be accommodated, but 78 candidates are now in the fray. However, the final tally will be found out only on the 28th of April, when the checking of all the nomination papers will be done. Well, the Lokayukta today conducted raids across Karnataka to nab the corrupt government officials. Lokayukta raids are underway at Davangere, Kolar, Chikballapura, Koppal, Haveri, Bagalkote, Shimoga, Raichur and Bijapur. The officials raided include District Hospital Superintendent Muni Raju's house in Kolar, whereas PWD Assistant Executive Engineer Mahantesh's house was also raided in Bagalkote. Group D worker Shri Ramaya's house was raided in Chikballapura and Deputy Tehsildar Basavraj Koppar's house was raided in Byargi town in Haveri. Police Sub-Inspector Somla Nayak's house was also raided in Davangere, whereas Town Planning Officer R. Nagraj's house was raided in Shimoga. Well, a series of raids that were conducted by the Lokayukta across the state after receiving tip-off on many of the government officials. Close to 67 government officials are being raided across in different parts of the state, including Chikballapura, Kolar and Koppal. Government officials who have assets disproportionate to their known sources of income and have numerous complaints registered against them were in the Lokayukta radar, and today the Lokayukta police has sprung a surprise, or rather a shock, on them by conducting simultaneous raids across all their properties.